Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deckin Around Kickstarter Edition. Today we're going to be taking a look at any decks that have funded in the past 7 days, any new decks to Kickstarter in the past week, and any decks that are going to be wrapping their round of funding in the next 7 days. But before we jump into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And ring the bell.
And ring the bell. And now a word from our sponsors. First up, if you missed out on the Latin Quarter playing cards from Doc's Playing Cards, keep an eye out because another drop is going to be coming to Kickstarter where you can pick up the cards and the chipset. These decks feel phenomenal in hand. The new tucks on the new launch are phenomenal. Beautiful black tuck there with embossing, gilded deck versions coming, and the chipset. Absolutely spectacular chipset with a beautiful custom box. Great looking cards, great looking chips. Make sure to keep an eye out. They'll be on Kickstarter soon. And for our second sponsor, Marvelous Decks. Your imagination is about to burst wide open as playing cards come to life with Marvelous Decks. Those times in the summer when you'd be running around catching fireflies in glass jars and just watching as they glow, or when you'd be outside and you'd see a butterfly fly by and the sun would just reflect off of its wings and it would just be so iridescent. That's the nostalgic feeling that Marvelous Decks is looking to bring to playing cards. So keep an eye out because these decks are going to be amazing. And now, without further ado, here
Let's
is
get into
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
Congratulations to Infinite Rule Luxury Playing Cards. Congratulations to Mambala Playing Cards. Congratulations to the Beer Deck. Congratulations to Honeycomb Playing Cards. Congratulations to Kingdoms of Eridan Limited Printing Plastic Playing Cards. And congratulations to the Pride Deck. And ending in the next 7 days, we have the Shiba Sagaiha Playing Cards. The Shard Playing Cards. The Zombies and Space Pixel Poker Playing Card. The Diamond Playing Cards, number 14, Purple Star. The Tournament of Mythic Kingdoms. These guys crushed it for their first deck, too, so congratulations on funding already, but good luck in the last 3 days as well.
Yeah.
And the Champion Deck Series by Williams Playing Cards. The King of Tigers Playing Cards.
That was their second campaign.
And they just launched this week as well.
Yeah.
And the Flemish Hunting Deck. And Mono Hexa by Mr. Luke Wadey.
Luke Wadey crushing it. 358 package.
Yeah, dude. Great job there.
Yeah.
And the Genso and Densho Playing Cards by Card Experiment.
Somebody just bought into that.
Yeah. And the T-Series Green Tea Playing Cards for Magician. And the Ape Playing Card. So let's see what we got this week, guys. First up, Rat King Playing Cards. So, this campaign off the bat obviously doesn't have a ton of information. Those pictures are very unexpected, to say the least. Hopefully that's not the deck you'll be getting if you pledge.
All I gotta say is I don't want to see a rat biting on a deck of cards in a campaign.
I mean, I think there's several things that just off the bat with this, there's not a lot of information. It's missing who's going to print and who the fulfillment's going to be through. It doesn't really tell.
I think that rat right there is doing the fulfillment.
It doesn't. Could be. Well, I mean, listen, based on $3 shipping in the United States, that could very well be, because that's definitely a little low for U.S. shipping. There's only a single deck.
That's amazing for U.S. shipping, but the deck still comes to $23.
Yeah, $23. There's only a single deck option on it. Obviously, you want to be as expansive as possible. I also like the irony that in the video he's wearing gloves, but in the pictures above, there's literally rats chewing on the cards. So, listen, I think the deck's interesting. It's not necessarily my style. I actually I like the look of the Jokers. The one thing it would be great to see is more pictures of the actual cards themselves. What did the number card look like? What do the rest of the courts look like?
It looks like
Getting
they're just
even
standard.
Yeah, well, and I mean it could be the like little recolors on the pips and things like that, and recolors across the courts. There's a rat popping out of the King of Spades there, but are those the only changes to it? Um, I mean, listen, ultimately, this deck's got some interesting aspects to it, and I feel like there's probably a set of people who would enjoy this, but get some social media visibility on it, get some more tiers in there, think about how much you're actually going to charge for the deck, because $23 for this deck is just a no-go. Um, yeah, I think
Yeah.
one might have to go back to the drawing board, so good luck on it, but pass for now. Next up, we got the Wonder Playing Cards by Chris Page. I feel like I just said your last name 100% wrong, Chris, so I apologize.
It's probably Chris Haji, maybe.
I don't know.
We don't know. Let us know what your name is, Chris. Is it Chris
Yes.
Page or is it Haji?
Or is it just Chris? We can call you Chris for now. So Chris's deck here, Wonder Playing Cards. I've actually been waiting for this deck for a while.
I have
I'm really
been too.
excited to see it. I think the cool part about this is this little like 3D depth effect with the Paisleys in it. And I mean, I think anytime we've seen a Paisley deck in the past, Steve and I will always mention the fact that we love Paisley patterns. So this is a hands down awesome deck in my book. But I think the cool part about it is you're coming into the campaign and right out the gate there in big bold letters, United States Playing Card Company, produced in collaboration with Art of Play. So we already know who's fulfilling and who's printing. Metallic ink on the card, 2 foils and embossing on the tuck. There's a lot going on with this deck. It's beautifully done. It's been in the works for a long time. The campaign gives some great visuals. Got really good information on all of the cards.
Jokers are cool.
Yeah, I like the little like whimsical touches to update the standard courts. And it's definitely meant to be a magician's deck. So you see a lot of standard courts here with just little small touches to it. Um, Cool tuck produced by Clove Street. Can't go wrong there. They do some phenomenal work. I really like the Jokers. And then there's a gilded version. I think it's a silver gilded version in the collector's box here. Yeah, this is a good looking deck.
Yeah, what do they come at price wise? Holographic.
Standard deck is 20 shipped.
Oh, it's the standard, eh?
The standard is 20 shipped but again, you're getting metallic ink, foil, and embossing on the tuck. Like you're basically getting the works to some extent while still having standard courts. I think this is what you would normally see at that $20 price point, where it's starting to go into the realm of more than just customization of the cards. So
yeah, 20 bucks shipped is not bad. What
I think it's reasonable.
So it's not silver gilded then, it's hollow silver?
So no,
gilded?
In the collector's box.
Okay.
In this one, it's silver, but there is also a hollow gilded as a stretch goal. This is the one area for the campaign, and again, this is personal taste for me, that I'm not a fan of, mostly because I'm not a huge fan of hollow foil or gilding. I think in certain situations it works. I don't necessarily know if this is one of them. I think with a blue deck, a deep blue gilding would have actually been cooler, but I think the silver gilding is going to be beautiful on this, especially if it's like a high shine mirror.
Yeah, the silver will look really good because, it has silver foil, silver metallic ink.
Yeah.
And it just makes sense. But I think, let's be honest, hollow gilding is like the cool thing to do right now. And
yeah,
I think it's definitely time that people stop trying to be cool. I love this deck. I just, the hollow gilding is, I just wish more people would create the gilding based around the deck, not based around what's popular, because not all gilding looks good on a deck.
Yeah. Well, and I think even in this situation, like if all of where this hollow foil is on the tuck had been silver foil, and this was the silver gilded version, that would look probably better in my book. I think it's a good looking deck either way, but I think the silver just complements it so much more, and it makes it classier. I think, and honestly, I think this is what it is for me, is that hollow gilding and hollow foil in the majority of uses where it doesn't fit perfectly is not classy. It doesn't look
I
classy.
agree.
It looks kind of gimmicky. I think the only deck where I've actually seen a hollow foil that fit was the legal tender deck because it made sense. It
Yeah, no,
made
no,
sense
for sure.
on money to have holographic, foil because there is holographic foil on money.
Right.
But I think
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
I just think, especially since it's like a magician's deck,
yeah,
to throw holographic foil. I know a lot of people are trying to
appeal to the
just really
masses.
add a few extra things and make it a collector's deck, which people are obviously going to be into it, of course.
Yeah.
I just want people to do things that are more cohesive with the deck itself. If you have a blue deck, you're not going to put red gilding on it. It's just hollow gilding doesn't work on every deck. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, listen, I think the only hollow gilding I've ever seen that worked again is probably that unicorn bicycle deck. But yeah, no, I think there's a time and a place for different types of gilding, and not to say I think this deck as a gilded deck and as a foiled deck would look really nice, just with maybe different coloring. So either
Yeah, I mean,
way,
I think a limited edition deck of this would look dope, but it
yeah,
needs to be, if you're gonna gild
yeah,
it,
cohesive.
throw foil on it.
Yeah.
You can't. It's just weird for me when I see kind of a standard back or something with gilding on it. It just doesn't seem right, you know.
Which that
But
being
anyway,
said,
I love the deck. I love the deck's awesome.
that being said, stick around to the end to find out which deck Steve and I would back this week. Good luck, Chris. We know you're going to crush it with this one. Honestly, you've hyped this up so well over the time, and with 33 days to go, you're already 86% of the way to your goal. So I got no doubt you're going to crush it with this one, man. Good luck.
For sure. For sure.
Next up, we have the Cookie Racer playing cards. I'm so excited for this one.
Go, Cookie Racer, go.
So I think this fits into the same category for a large portion of the feedback as the first deck today. There just isn't a lot of information here. This one's a little
I like this
here.
spot the best.
Yeah,
this spot's my
stretch
favorite.
goals. There's no indication
What
as
is
to
it?
what was actually unlocked. Also, this is, I mean, $16 for the deck. Like, price point at
It's
least.
gilded. It's gilded.
Yeah, it's a gilded deck for $16 or $19, depending if you get the early bird. There's just not enough information. There's not enough visibility into all the cards themselves, and especially because it looks like each card is unique. Like, take the time to show all the cards. I think there's probably a following that would definitely be into this deck. It would be nice to see who's going to be fulfilling it, who's going to be printing it, and all the kind of information we always kind of expect to see in these things. Otherwise, price point dead on. So, good luck there, and yeah.
Good luck, cookies.
Next up, we have the Ghibli Playing Cards by Omen Store. So I
Is
know
this
this deck.
this another Omen deck?
Yeah, so this is actually their third deck, and I know there's been a lot of hype behind this one. They had a whole kind of little bit of a controversy where they initially weren't planning on going the license route to do this deck. They finally decided to get the licensing for Ghibli to print the deck. I know, and I think there's a very big following behind Ghibli as to the people who like the Ghibli Studios animation. This deck had momentum behind it from the jump.
The cool back design. Can I say one thing?
Let's hear it.
Go back up. Is the top one? Is that the tuck? Go up.
Yes.
Is that the tuck right there on the right?
Yes.
Omen, amazing job at the branding for this deck. The fact that it doesn't say Omen all over the front of the tuck box where you're pushing your branding down our face. Awesome. You crushed it. I don't know anything about Ghibli, but this is a dope deck. I think it's done very well. The back design's dope. I think it's dope. What do we have for prices?
$26 ship.
It's a little expensive, but I'm sure they're paying for that
the
licensing.
licensing, and I think that's where that comes into play. That being said, I think that could have probably been accounted for to some extent in the actual cost, like the goal versus the deck price, and you probably would have gotten more backers based on that. I think the deck
Cool.
protector aspect here, this 3D printed, little styling to it's really cool. And
So dope.
it's really well thought out. Printed.
Look at these guys. All the information. Omen.
Hanson
Crushing
Chan
it.
printing and
Gamblers.
the Gamblers.
Yeah, it says it right there. Go up. Up. Right there. Up. Up. Where was that list right there?
Oh yeah,
Filled by
fulfillment
Gamblers.
by Gamblers. Perfect. Yeah. Like I said, I think the price point's a little bit on the high side based on what it is, but again, being a licensed
Agree.
deck that may be playing into it. But I think this is also something that you have to take into consideration with something like this. Let's go take a look at what their goal is here. So, 10,000. So a $10,000 goal again for a deck like this. It sounds like they already built some of the licensing into the printing and fulfillment cost.
Yeah.
On top of that, the way I look at it is at $26 a deck, you're definitely pricing people out. Whereas at somewhere along the lines of more $18, $19, you probably
You're going to
would
get
be
a
getting,
third more.
yeah, you're getting a lot more backers, which is significantly making up for the lower price point. Also, I think
sure.
the one thing on this campaign that surprises me is there's only 275 backers. Studio Ghibli as an anime company has a massive, massive following. And
Yeah.
if this campaign doesn't end with more than 1,000 followers, you didn't market it hard enough. Like, this campaign has so much potential behind it to crush on the numbers because it's Studio Ghibli. You have,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
think what you have to do is you have to get on Instagram, you have to get on Facebook, you have to like dive into all these Ghibli groups
Yep.
and put on put up an ad, put
Yeah.
up as
Yeah,
much
put up
information
ads.
as you can.
Yep. I mean,
Get
because
on.
this deck has potential to be significantly higher than where it is now.
A huge, yeah. I mean, you can make $300,000 on this deck for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it just based on what it is. I mean, anime, and this is this is one of those crossover categories where someone who loves anime may not love playing cards, but because they love anime so much in Studio Ghibli, they would buy this deck. And
Oh, yeah.
they might only buy one of them, but again, if it's $18 and you get an extra 1,000 people who love Studio Ghibli to buy it at $18, you're making up any difference there that you would see based on licensing costs. Like, there's so much runway here for this to be a huge, huge project. The
Yeah,
other
get on
thing,
Reddit, get on Facebook. Really start pressing some ads, put those out there. You should definitely be hitting at least 800 backers easy.
the other thing I'm curious about though too in this one is they do list it as a limited edition exclusively on Kickstarter. Do you have a limited print run in mind for this? And if so, mention it. If not, and I don't think you should on this, you should print to order on this one because if you get 10,000 people who want it, give them 10,000 decks. But that being said, where I think you're falling short on this one in addition is where are your stretch goals?
Do they have them?
No. You're already
Yeah, you don't need a stretch goal for this.
But dude, you're already above your goal. Like, why not add other things that sell the Ghibli brand or tie into anime that you could get additional funding on in something like this? Because also that's the other thing to consider. Without stretch goals, you're gonna have a natural momentum decrease that stretch goals would help you work towards. I mean, you could guild this under the same license, I'm assuming, and have a silver gilded Ghibli deck. And you know what? It may appeal more to collectors, but it's something to keep the momentum going, pushing towards higher levels of funding.
I'm just gonna, obviously if you add some things to it, I wouldn't throw gilding on this deck, but
I mean, it was an example.
you could have some cool. I don't know anything about Ghibli, so I'm sure there's other cool Ghibli things you can add to it, but I think it just needs to be. You need to market it better, and I don't think you need any type of add-on for something like this. This is so huge that you just need to market it properly where more people see it, and I think the numbers will show.
Yeah.
You know.
And that being said, from the actual build out of the campaign, I actually want to say two things about this. One, the campaign is put together exceptionally. I think
Yeah.
the reason we're giving this specific advice is because this campaign itself is a very unique scenario where you have widespread recognition of a licensed content brand. By no means do you have to go out there and buy advertising for your Kickstarter if you're creating your own deck and the brand isn't a household name to some extent. But if you have that already understood power behind the name of your deck, utilizing extra advertising helps. It
Oh hell
only
yeah.
helps. So in that case, I think there's only a handful of decks a year that come out in that situation. I think the ones that I can name off the top of my head are going to be, some of the decks from Jackson Robinson coming out, like Robin Hood. If he was going to put that on Kickstarter, advertising makes a ton of sense because Robin Hood. Same with the Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings. Same with the Three Stooges deck by Chris Chelko. Any of those household name brands that you're building a deck around, go the extra mile. Market the heck
Yeah.
out of it so people find it. Because these are decks that appeal to a larger audience than just card collectors.
You know what I would have done? I would have printed 10 prototypes, 15, 20 prototypes, and I would have sent them to all these like big time toy like Ghibli unboxing YouTubers. And I would have had them on there and been like, yo, this deck is blah, blah, blah. It's going live on Kickstarter in a month or whatever it is. And launched it. These people get millions and millions of views. This campaign, Omen has
it.
like Omen. They have a lot of potential here, and I just, I hope that you guys hear this and that you can push a little harder and try to get into those little areas that you might have not have hit yet, like your your Facebook groups about Ghibli. Even mention it to some of these YouTubers, these Ghibli YouTubers, and try to get it out there. I think it'll really help the campaign. I wouldn't be surprised that by the end of this, if they did it right, that it's 1,000 backers easy.
Yeah, you got 17 days left. Good luck. Utilize it as best as you can.
Good job on grabbing that license.
Yep. Next up, we have the gourmet playing cards from Riffle Shuffle.
Riffle Shuffle. I feel like we do one of these every.
We do a we do a
everybody.
Riffle Shuffle decks.
This is what we're gonna start doing with Riffle Shuffle campaigns. We're just gonna do everybody Riffle Shuffle. Amazing prices, amazing campaign. If you hold out till the end, you're gonna get some cool limited edition decks, gilded decks.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So
that's cool. The designer.
Yeah, no. So here's the thing. So this is the second deck with this designer. I do like the shift in their style here of going all image based. I feel like we just saw this with our King Arthur as well. So they're actually seem to be shifting most of their campaign to image based read through versus text based. It's Riffle Shuffle. They do this for a living. There is nothing on this that's missing. We can see it right here. USPCC printed, air cushion finish, legendary B casino stock, premium foiled seal. Hitting it all out of the park. That's a beautiful tuck. Alba Zapata, this is her second deck with Riffle Shuffle. I can't remember for the life of me what the other one was, so I do apologize, but I know they had a deck with her recently prior to this after Sirocco, but I can't remember what it was.
Was it Pop Stars?
I don't know. I really can't remember now.
It looks Pop Starry. Go up to the court cards.
Hold on, let me
check those look.
Hold on, 2 created. I can just click in here. So, Sin City.
Oh, Sin City, right?
Yeah, has that same kind of vibe to it with the foil on the tuck and everything. Very,
beautiful. Crushed it.
Yeah, crushed it. And $19 a deck shipped, so can't go wrong there. Good job, Riffle Shuffle.
Crushing it, always.
Next up,
Kevin, you're a savage.
Next up, we have the Spiel Digital Novelties playing cards. So, what do we have here?
A tangible keepsake? What is this all about?
So,
I'm confused. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, there's not enough pictures on this, first off. It's a deck of cards. An online platform built around the idea of cards. This is interesting. I think. Yeah,
What's spiel? What is browsing spiel? I don't understand.
read it.
I can't.
Every
It's too
card of
blurry
this
for me.
deck contains a new game that is introduced at Spiel this year. We will create beautiful 3D renders of every box and add the most important stats about every game. While I think there's a lot of potential to use playing cards as a jump point to get people online, I think it needs to be extremely, extremely cohesive. It may be that we're not the target market for this, and that's why this doesn't necessarily appeal to me. But
What is spiel? What is spiel?
I wish I could tell you, Steve.
Because it says right there, like browsing spiel like a deck of cards. What is spiel?
It's the name of the deck and the company. So it's their platform.
Interesting.
Digital board gaming entered our lives, and so did Spiel Digital, the first ever board game conference on this scale to be held entirely online. So it's some sort of kind of plug to a board game conference. Awesome.
Okay, well, I guess it's not really in our wheelhouse.
$9 a deck, though, so...
It's all digital, though, yeah?
Well, no, I think they're physical decks. You get physical decks, $9.
Okay, all right.
So, my guess would be decks printed in Netherlands. Cool. Yeah, I think this falls out the wheelhouse here, but yeah, so...
Yeah,
next
good luck, guys.
we have Lux.
Good luck, Spiel.
Hominem, playing cards. And I'm going to throw this out here, too, and I don't like when campaigns do this because I think it's kind of deceptive.
It's not by USPCC.
These cards are not by USPCC. They may be printed through USPCC, but these are in no way being printed, or these are no way being produced by USPCC. USPCC is not associated with this project other than the fact that someone is paying them to print cards for them.
Correct.
That being said, we've discussed in the past, you have this beautiful subtitle here that could you easily say printed by USPCC and fulfilled by whoever's fulfilling this deck. But yeah, I think this is not an ideal situation because I think, granted, I understand why you do it. You're trying to grab the visibility. I just think it's a little bit deceptive.
Right.
So, that being said, let's dive into this deck.
Let's dive in, Tyler. Let's do it.
And listen, just based on the still for the video, I think there's potential there. It looks like possibly foil cards. Cards that I create. It's a very interesting style. I like the fact that there is variation between the coloring between all the decks. That was a little, yeah.
So it's in English and Spanish, yeah?
Yes.
There's a lot of text. This is one with a lot of text, huh?
Yeah, there is. I mean, you can see by the scroll bar on the side that this is... Oh, no, you can't because it's hidden. The scroll bar is very small. Just trust me on that one.
It goes on for days.
And so here's an interesting thing about it, and I don't think we've actually seen a multilingual campaign yet. I don't necessarily know if this is the best way to lay it out, where it's English followed by Spanish, or English followed by any other languages. I almost wonder if it would be better to do an entire campaign in one language, followed by a repetition in an entire another language, because then you have more cohesiveness for the language you're targeting versus breaking it up between multiple languages. And I don't know how much Kickstarter allows like hyperlinking within its own page, but if you potentially put a table of contents at the top that said English version, Spanish version, German version, French version, whatever you're trying to do as your multilingual campaign, and that took you immediately down to it, that might make it a little more cohesive. Because ultimately, what I find I'm running into here is that, okay,
it's kind of like jerking. It's not, it doesn't flow.
Like I go to read the next sentence and it's not what I'm expecting because it's in another language. And so it makes it so that, it breaks up the flow. I think, that being said, I dig the cards. I think there's a lot of potential. I like the fat outline style. It's very like metallic Sharpie-esque, you know? But I dig it. Price wise, we're looking at
Sharpie-esque.
$18 shipped.
Interesting cards. I would definitely like it a lot better if the face cards were white. It's just a whole lot of design going on, you know.
Eh,
So that's the back design. Go up. Right there.
yes.
Okay.
Kind of bicycle-esque. Listen, I think it's a cool looking deck. I think it's a different vibe that we haven't seen before. I
So
like
3 different
the
decks.
3 different decks. I like the fact that on the Aureum playing cards, the pips are different colors. I think it looks good. Awesome playing on the merch side of things. Again, this is something we don't always see, and I'm curious to see from a creator how merch plays out. So if you've done a successful campaign with merch added onto it, reach out and let us know how well it's played out. Because do you sell a lot of merch? Do you not? I think this is probably the coolest part of the campaign. Here is this LED acrylic cut light. I think that looks really awesome. See it right there? Like that's pretty. That would be pretty cool on like a table, especially if you dig this artwork.
Yeah. How much is it?
Built by Art of Play. So it's $18 a deck.
Interesting.
Yeah, $18 a deck. But where's the Ray Stormlight? Yeah, they're all $18 a deck. So that's really not a bad deal at all,
Is
considering
that
it looks
shipped or?
shipped. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is a
cool.
steal of a deck at that price point.
It's
Yeah,
foil or metallic ink. What is it?
so,
Because I couldn't really tell. Is it like
and I think that's part of
UV
the.
spot ink or what? What is it?
Let us go. Oh, let's see if I can do some searching in here for words like foil. That works. So foil and ink did not work.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think this is one of those things, and I think actually last week there was a point where I was like, ah, there's no such thing as too much information. I still stand by that. There is no such thing as too much information, but
It
if you're
has to
gonna
be
have,
presented properly.
yeah, it has to. There has to be a flow to it. You're trying to tell a story here throughout the entirety of it. If people are looking for information, this would actually be a great time to put like bullet points up top. Make it super
Yeah.
straightforward. And again, I don't know what the right answer is for a multilingual campaign. I still think being able to
I think
keep the
I think you were
flow,
spot on. I
yeah, I think
think having it in sections would be definitely,
more cohesive, if nothing
yeah,
else.
just make it easier to read.
Yeah, because I don't like. Here's the problem I have with this is now that we've gone to the bottom and back up to the top, and we couldn't find what we were looking for on is it oil, is it regular ink, is it metallic ink? I don't really want to have to scroll through the entirety of this again because it's a lot. It's a lot of information, and I feel like I'm skimming, which means I'm just going to be missing information anyway. But I actually really like the deck. I think the price point is dead on. I think the only thing that really needs to be tweaked on this one is the order of the information presented, because otherwise I think it would be perfect.
Good luck, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good luck. I'm excited to see this deck fund. So next up we have King of Tigers, which
Nope. Did
started.
not fund last time. This is Randy
Yeah,
Butterfield.
it's a Randy Butterfield deck. Started this week, is ending this week,
This week.
and is already almost 3x its goal. So well done,
I
Randy.
wonder what happened between last time and this time.
I don't know.
Interesting. Now, is that all foil?
It looks like it is all shiny materials. So I'm guessing that's foil.
Is that what it says? Shiny
Yes,
materials?
it will be printed with shiny materials.
What does that even mean?
Uh,
Come on, Butterfield. You know better than that.
I mean, listen, this is not. I'll be very upfront about this. This is not my style deck. I think it's very.
It's not my style either, but Tyler, that's
ritzy.
going to look dope being fanned by you. Let me tell
But
you.
no, it definitely will. From that point of view, yes, this is a phenomenal looking fanning deck as long as it fans well. I know I already missed it, but who's this bring?
It's got to be Katamundi. Butterfield? Is it Katamundi or like NPCC or WJPC or something?
So King of Tigers, Box holographic glitter flakes.
Oh god, that sounds miserable.
I mean, this is a
How How much is it? Blue deck, gold deck, and there's a holographic deck. Yeah,
$15 shipped.
that's nice.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like the
15.
quartz. Those quartz kind of look like
I don't know
kind
why
of.
the gold versus the blue is different in price. It's still
Yep.
18 for the blue. I mean, listen, for everything that's on this, the quartz look really clean. I do like the style there. I like the little
Yeah.
customization on the pips. This is a steal at $15. It's a steal at $18. There's a lot that obviously went into this. It's being printed by Legends.
Nice.
So,
Cool.
yeah, Randy.
I dig it. It's cool. I mean, it's not my style, but
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I think it's cool creating something outside the box and see how it goes.
And I'm excited by this fact right here. And this is something that we say all the time. Fulfillment and international shipping. I will be handling fulfillment for this project personally. Perfect. You didn't leave the question open and hanging. We now know who is doing fulfillment. Whatever someone's opinion is on self fulfillment, I think that itself right there is the first step to transparency that helps people feel more comfortable. It's spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, Randy's knows how to do
Yeah.
it.
So
He's done enough that he's part of Midnight Cards or is Midnight Cards.
yeah.
He's been
So
around long enough that he knows how to do that stuff.
yeah. So congratulations, Randy, on already surpassing your goal on a definitely eye catching deck. So nicely done, man.
For sure. It'll be
Next
good to
up,
see what that looks like in person.
yeah, might be blinding, but it'll be interesting for sure. Next up, we have Final Life playing card.
Jonathan.
Yes, from Jonathan Bird. So this is a hands down nostalgia deck. Obviously, really reminiscent of Super Nintendo. I think that's the vibe that anyone who's played a Super Nintendo would get from this. Um,
Thanks for making everybody feel old, Jonathan.
you know what though, dude? Super Nintendo's back in fashion. People know what Super Nintendo is now. So it's listen. I think it's a interesting concept. We're seeing a lot of nostalgia decks hitting Kickstarter and hitting the scene right now. I think there's definitely a drive for them. You can already see 6 days in, he's already about halfway to his goal. He's doing pretty well with his momentum on it. I think he immediately creates a personal connection, talking about him, talking about why he got into cardistry and magic, showing great pictures for it, um, renders even. So it's if this is your style, if you're into video games and cards, and I know there's a large cross section of that community here, this is a cool deck. It's a good looking deck. It's USPCC printed. He touches on it right there. Touches on the
Gamblers.
fulfillment from gamblers. Yeah,
How
it's
much for the price? What do we got for price?
early bird. You can get an early bird for 14 shipped. Standard
Nice.
pricing is 16 shipped. This
Yeah, good
is
pricing.
a home run on price for a primarily custom deck. I mean, all the pips, the courts are relatively the same, but there's customization on the pips, which I think is great, and the coloring across. I like it. I think it's a good looking deck. Um, and I think one thing I do want to point out too, he customized the club in a way that's still recognizable easily as a club, versus more often than not, we see people try and customize a club and it starts to look a little bit too much like a spade, and then you create issues differentiating between the two. This makes it a playable deck still, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Good
got little
job.
Game Boy Jokers, which is super cool. So
That was cool.
nicely done on this, Jonathan. Great information, great pictures, and a
Yeah.
awesome price point. So
Yeah. Good luck,
good luck, man. Yeah, good luck.
homie. Yeah.
Next up, we got the Igo deck.
Yeah, I go to the bathroom all the time.
Thank you for that, Steve. What? I don't even know what that was.
I
But
don't even know what that was either.
oh my gosh! So we've seen this deck in the
This
past.
is
This is
this is very pretty. I really dig
yeah.
this deck. Like
So
the
this is
looks of it.
actually
It's just
a relaunch. The purpose of the deck is to teach you Japanese while using the cards. But I think it's an interesting concept. I don't know how feasible it is, but I think it's definitely an interesting concept. I love the artwork on this as well. I definitely think it's
yeah,
very well done. Um, the one
beautiful.
thing that I do,
That fan is cool too.
yeah, I think the one thing that that makes it a little difficult is the courts or not the courts, the pips are not immediately visible. Like I don't know what this is the queen of. Hearts? Diamonds?
Yeah, it's one of the two. I don't know.
So that takes it out of the
Maybe it
realm.
says it. Maybe it says it on there.
So one of them I did see before, and this is the other. So yeah, it says heart in the center there, diamond in the center
Oh,
there.
okay.
But like those are on the number card, so I'm assuming that the courts maybe don't. But at the same time, like that kind of takes it out of the realm of a playable deck. Um, but I do
I
again,
mean, yeah, this definitely isn't a playable deck. That's for
yeah,
sure.
not easily, but I do love the artwork on it. I think it's a good looking deck.
Yeah, for
Again,
sure.
I commend the trying
Cosmo
to
D.
share language, which is awesome. Printed by Cardamundi on B9, which is a great stock. Um, not filming again, merch.
Cool merch. I like that
Yeah,
phone case.
not a huge fan of Teespring, but it is what it
Yeah.
is. Um, I do not see fulfillment. That's the
Yeah.
only thing that we're missing here is fulfillment.
How much is
Otherwise,
it?
I'll have to let you see what we got here.
Cheap.
Um,
Early bird is
24
what?
shipped. 24 shipped. 21 shipped on the early bird. So my guess would be self-fulfillment out of the UK.
Yeah, probably.
This is where doing your market research ahead of time to see where the primary backers are going to be is the biggest thing, because if you think your majority of your backers are going to be in the United States, go get gamblers. If you think the majority of them are going to be in Asia, go talk to Hansen Chen. If you think they're going to be in Europe or the EU or outside the EU, talk to a local fulfillment company. You're going to bring that price point down, which is going to make the deck more appealing. While I do think you get the added benefit of the potential to learn some of a language, the main purpose of these is still a deck of playing cards, so it becomes a little bit tough to justify a $21 early bird price point.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Especially solely on shipping, because otherwise it's an $8 or $11 deck. So you're looking at more for shipping than the deck. So
Good
good luck
luck.
on it. Yeah, I think there's potential in this, but I think that's just the one area that it needs to be revisited. Next up, we have the Please Play With Me.
I'm just gonna say, I think
Well,
this needs a little more information. I think
yeah.
there's not much on it, and I think that box kind of reminds me of a Band-Aid box.
It definitely
Doesn't
reminds
it?
me of it, yeah. It definitely looks like a Band-Aid box. I think, yeah, there's not enough textual information telling you who's going to be
What?
printing, what the
What's the
story
story?
is. Yeah, there's no story to it that I can see. I want
It
to
says right
interpret
there. But
traditional playing cards in a fun and silly way. Like, while that's awesome, okay, I created this deck about 3 years ago, but because of the deck's anxiety and insecurities, it took a lot of convincing and set up to Kickstarter to bring this pet project to life. So here's the thing. I think the one way to tie this in then is like, what about this deck makes it personal to you? Tell that story. Like you've started
yeah,
to tell the story, and in an interest. Okay, cool. I want to interpret a traditional playing cards in a fun and silly way, and this is how I did it, and this is why it's important to me, and this is why I think it'll resonate with you.
yeah.
The other
The back
aspect of it
design
is,
is because this is the
yeah,
emotion I get with anxiety or what.
and dude, that's actually a pretty like trippy back design. I dig the back design, but I think there's a lot of potential here to be a deck that people would be interested in just because it's eye catching. I'm not a fan of like the kind of gimmicky boxes.
Band-Aid box.
Yeah, price point $18. Price point isn't bad for what it is, but I don't know where it's being printed. So that I think is the biggest thing. I think this is also something you see
So
very regularly in people who maybe don't do the research is playing cards are 2.48 by 3.46 inches. Cool, like that's standard playing card size. I don't necessarily think like card specs are important in that capacity. More so in the what's the stock, what's the finish, is it crushed, is it standard, who's printing it, where's the shipping. All those things are the
go down
important specifications. Where would you like me to go to?
right there, right there. Up, up, up. Next one. Next picture up. Right here. So broken heart, diamonds. I assume that's a knife. Is that for like self harm?
I don't know. There's no.
And
That's the thing though. There's no
the
story
weed.
behind this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool to touch up on those parts of the deck, you know, because I like, is it a mental health deck? Is it, you know,
And if so, like I think that's the story you want to tell with this. Like I think there's a lot of potential for this deck, and I think the art would appeal to people. It's just a matter of building that
yeah,
connection.
yeah,
So
letting us know what it is.
yeah, good luck, Charlie. If it doesn't fund, I hope you take it back to the drawing board and really consider how to push this the way it should go to funding, because I think there is potential with it. I think there's a lot of room to tell the story. So
Yeah,
good
it's
luck.
fun designs. I mean, like you know, Charlie wanted to create a silly and fun deck, and I think
It
it's
touches on
done.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck.
go
Next up, we
Charlie.
have the Hello Tiki V3 from Montenzi, which cult following behind Montenzi. Obviously, a lot of people know the decks, know the design, love it. Um, no different with the V3 here. Very similar to previous decks in the style, though the artwork itself is obviously new. And this
5
is
different decks.
yeah, 5 different decks. There's a lot to this campaign. 5 different
Yeah, the
decks,
campaign was
limited
kind of
runs.
confusing to me.
Yeah,
Limited edition.
I mean that gilding is beautiful. There's gilded decks. There's foil. There's a lot going on with this campaign. The one thing is, and I don't necessarily think project summary perfect. 100% custom decks, 3 unique sets of aces, jokers, back design, tough box, printed by Cardamondi on True Linen B9 Slimline. Honestly, one of my favorite stocks out there right now. Cold foil on the
Gold
back
foil
for
on the
Gilded
back for
Premium. Yep.
Gilded Premium
Cold foil on
edition.
both sides of the cards for Red Ultra Edition. Gilded decks are limited and Kickstarter / Montezi exclusive. So like all of
Which
the
means they'll only
information
be
is
available on his website.
there. Yep. So there's a lot. And yeah, for further clarification there, that means you won't see these coming through Murphy's retailers for the limited ones that he's only going to sell there, because he will not be selling them or to any
Correct.
other distributors.
Correct.
Project is in New Zealand dollars, not something to worry about because Kickstarter thankfully corrects to your local currency with an estimate. But I think the cool thing about this is, yeah, there's just that summary's perfect. It tells you everything you need to know out the box, and then you can kind of go into the realm of let's look at pictures and figure this out.
How much is it?
Price point on the deck, 21 shipped for the premium. Again, this is a foil. Yeah, cold foil on the back. So you're looking at a foil deck. These are all foiled decks, if I'm correct. So
Yeah, cold foil on the
21
back,
shipped,
and then
yeah,
foil on both sides for the Red Ultra. Okay.
21 shipped, 31 shipped for a gilded cold foil deck. Like that price point is solid.
How much is the Red Ultra?
The Red Ultra is $43.
Nice.
Which is cold foiled on both sides. That's still within a reasonable price point. The one thing I will
gilded.
say about
and gilded. Yeah, that's good price.
That's a good price point for a deck like this. Again, this deck I think also falls into the collector's category. Like this is genuinely a collector's deck.
For sure. Has all the information. Prices are great.
Montenzi's also been doing this for a while. They've done some phenomenal decks. They did last year's United Cardists deck of the year. Yeah, absolutely on point with these. They're beautiful decks. So if this is your style, and look at those, this is what I like though too. Like yes, we immediately came out the gate and said there's 5 different editions. Like simplistically put it together to say here are the 5 different editions: Red Ultra, Red Retro Gilded, White Gilded, Retro Premium, White Premium. Like there's 5 different decks, but the White Gilded versus the White Premium literally have different designs on the back. Like it's not just like I wrapped one with gilding. Like there's differences between the decks, which I think is so cool. Like this is literally 5 decks designed for one campaign.
Yeah, I mean technically it's 3. It's 3.
Well,
2 of them are the same designs, just different colors.
Yeah.
Right? Oh no, that's a little different.
Yeah, they're it's 5 literally
different
designs.
they are different.
So similarities between 2 of them, but yes, different.
Very close. Yeah, there's a couple changes. Cool.
You know,
yeah, I mean all the information's there. Prices are great. Images really Tenzi, great job, as usual.
And last up, we have Ghibli Playing Cards.
Egyptian. I love the artwork in this deck.
Yeah. So this is definitely a good looking deck. Obviously geared towards collectors. All original artwork. 3 editions here: Sunny, Sapphire, Ruby.
I love that Sunny version.
Ruby and the Sapphire are stretch goals, so out the gate only the Sunny is available. But yeah, it is good looking. What are we looking at price point wise? 21 out the gate, but it looks like foil on the tuck. So again, you have a.
And I think it's gilded, isn't it? Or is that a stretch goal?
It looks ungilded on the.
Okay, that must be a stretch goal.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe that they have a gilded edition or a gilded stretch. I mean, the artwork on this alone is phenomenal.
So good, phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, you can see
really,
the detail
really
highlighting
good
there, but also look at like that gold and that gold foil and embossed top looks beautiful. Yeah, it's nice look.
I dig it. See, there's the gilded right there. That's gilded, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a gold matte gilding, which looks really nice.
Yeah, doesn't look. It's not my favorite gilding, but
interestingly enough, though, I don't see anything about the gilding in here. So maybe the standard is gilded, but I don't.
Oh, here we go, right here, right there. It is, right there. Limited editions, right there.
Yeah.
Limited editions, only 50 decks. Looks like only 50 decks gilded. One's gold, one's purple. What's that mean? New colors of cardboard.
Oh no, these are completely different limited edition token decks. It looks like.
Oh, that's a luxury case.
Yeah.
Good piece. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Solid campaign, solid information there. The one thing I don't see is
fulfillment.
So this is being printed by Nage Cards. I don't know who that is. I think one of the things to always kind of remember with collectors decks is the printer isn't necessarily as important because more often than not these decks are meant for display, not use. That being said, I'm not a huge fan of backing collectors decks because I like a deck you can also fan and use.
Yeah, I think it's great that they put the who was printing the cards. I think it's huge.
Yeah, I think it's good, especially, and I mean, listen, this is a link right there. So this will take you to the website of the company printing it because they're aware of the fact that it may not be a well-known company. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Fulfillment, I'm guessing, individuals, self-fulfilled. So,
nice. Cool.
Yeah. So
good. All the info's in there. Price is good.
Yeah, and it's a good-looking deck if you're really looking for something artistically on point. This is I mean, you can see how much work went into this.
Dude, look at that Joker, that lion Joker.
Yeah, everything about this deck is just amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good work.
Good job, April GS. And yeah, cool. So Steve.
That's it.
Yeah, that is this week. What decks would you be backing?
The Wonder deck, I think, is dope. Scroll down a little bit. So Wonder deck, I'm going to say Gourmet is not my style, but obviously great deck, great price, Riffle Shuffle. Scroll down. Montenzi for sure. Final Life. Cool idea. And I think, and maybe the Egyptium, I think, is really cool.
Cool. So I think on my end, Wonder deck, again, I can't say no to Paisley. I'm on the fence on these.
How about the Cookie deck?
Now, Cookie Racers now. I'm on the fence about Lux Hominum. I think it's a good-looking deck. I think there's potential to it. I'd still like to know whether it's foil or metallic ink or what the deal is there, but it's not bad-looking. But I think this week, and honestly, I'd probably say Final Life and Montenzi are my 3 for this week, just because, yeah, nothing else really jumped out. I'm kind of not into the whole, like, food themed deck. Riffle Shuffle makes a great product, but not my
Yeah.
style there. And I think
Same
that's
with
the
me.
thing, though. You know, they come out with a lot of decks because there's a different deck for everybody. But yeah, so I think that's where we're at for this week.
Right on.
Yeah, so before we roll out here, guys, make sure to keep an eye out for the next Latin Quarter playing card Kickstarter coming soon. You'll have another opportunity to pick up the Latin Quarter playing cards and chipset. The chipset is absolutely spectacular if you're a poker player at all. These are the cards and the chipset to get. They are breathtaking, really kind of inspired by the underground casino scene, and they knock it out of the park. Yeah.
It's not focusing. It's not focused. There we go.
Well, and the funny thing is, though, all I can see is it just looks like a matte black box.
There we
It's,
go.
yeah, there's so much detail to that box that just doesn't
Yeah.
get picked up, but it really is a beautiful, beautiful tuck. The cards handle phenomenally out of the box, so keep an eye out for the Latin Quarter playing card coming to Kickstarter soon. And
Yep.
don't forget about Marvelous Decks. Your imagination is about to burst wide open as playing cards come to life. Marvelous Decks is really trying to get that nostalgia factor built into playing cards. Those vibes you get as a kid running around in the summer, catching fireflies in a jar, or seeing butterflies fly by and the sun just glimmers off their wings there. This is what Marvelous Decks is trying to bring to playing cards. That childhood feeling of wonder and amazement. So keep an eye out, guys, for Marvelous Decks coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
This was, I gotta say, a pretty solid week for Kickstarter. I think definitely some decks that need some revisiting on their campaign, but I think the ones who are up here who knew what they were doing did it well. Great job, guys. For anyone who doesn't fund,
Keep your rats off my decks.
I mean, listen, who knows? That could be a great deck for someone, but definitely get more information out there and think about it. I think the other thing about it too, though, is remember if you don't fund first time around, it's not the end of your project. Like, bring it back to the drawing board, do some community research, find out why people didn't back it, and make some tweaks to bring it back to the table. And who knows, maybe it'll fund second time around. So,
Yeah.
good luck to you all. Thank you so much, everyone, for checking out the video this week. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We drop these Kickstarter editions every Monday, and we drop a plethora of other videos all week long that you may love, including deck specs, reviewed, a live show on Thursdays with amazing guests, including Dan Sperry this week. So, check it out.
Word. Thanks.
Peace.